another episode of the Sean Farrell podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. So go ahead and get into it. Okay? So, one of the things that I say often is suicide affects everybody, okay? From the truck driver, the warehouse worker, the fast food worker, to the college and pro athlete, okay? Suicide affects everybody, okay? So, I often talk about how professional athletes talk about some of their battles that they've had with depression, suicide. I mention often that Hayden Hurst, NFL tight end, attempted to take his life while he was in college at South Carolina. Dak Prescott's brother ended his life in 2020. Okay, and so he's had to deal with that. Solomon Thomas, his sister, ended her life. Ended her life by suicide. Okay, and so pro athletes sometimes or oftentimes are the ones we say, wow, we didn't know that they were dealing with that. One of those pro athletes who deals with depression and probably still deals with it is Kevin Love, okay? Professional ball player, NBA player, Kevin Love. Won a title with the Cleveland Cavaliers, okay? Multiple time All-Star. Kevin Love has battled depression throughout his life, throughout his NBA career, okay? And so I just thought this was the perfect story to talk about. I saw this story on Basketball Network. Story is titled, Kevin Love revealed he often thought about different ways to take his own life. You start planning it out. Love shares a deeply personal account of battling depression and suicidal thoughts. Okay, so throughout his 17-year NBA career, Kevin Love had no problem battling the league's most talented forwards and centers like Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki. Earned 5 All-Star berths, Most Improved Player title, a rebounding title, and most of all, the 2016 NBA Championship. But as valiant as his clashes with the best at his positions were, Love had a battle that many did not know of, his own demons, which came out in droves during his injury-plagued 2012-2013 season with the Minnesota Timberwolves. During that campaign, Love played in only 18 games due to a broken right hand. With access to his sanctuary suddenly taken away, he had no crutch to help him stand, leaving him to struggle getting by each day. This part of the article is titled, Hoops was his safe space. Many think NBA stars are invincible. But the cruel reality is that they are human. In Love's case, with basketball ripped away from him, he couldn't find his footing. The crutch of basketball was everything to me. That was my safe space. He shared in an interview with Graham Bensinger in a conversation in 2020. Listen, I love basketball. It's what I do. It's not who I am. And that was something that I had to really face and learn when I had an injury. It was really tough for me to comprehend or understand what I was going to even do with myself. So I didn't have another escape. And on top of that, I'm not around my teammates. I'm living alone He continued. My social anxiety got to such a high point where I didn't want to go outside, and that was a really, really dark point in my life. That is tough to revisit, but this went on for months. In October 2012, Love broke the third and fourth metacarpals. I hope I said that right. On his right hand, which would reportedly sideline him for as long as 8 weeks. However, he gutted it out and returned to action on November 21st. The bottom, though, fell out on January 3rd, 2013. As he re-injured his right hand, causing him to miss the remainder of the season. This part of the article is titled, Love Got Lost. To Love, playing hoops was the ultimate way of expressing himself, but with that outlet unavailable, he turned to other things. He drank. He ate to his heart's content, ended up becoming a shell of his former self. Before long, his demons began winning the battle. When you get to that point, and it's day after day being the same, you come to a point where the darkest moments come into play, and suicidal thoughts came into play. Kevin Love said. You start planning it out and thinking about what route you would take. And those are really scary moments in my life, he continued. There were a couple of ways that I toyed with, but it was just scary to get down that route and think about the idea of taking my own life. But it was something that crossed my mind pretty often, especially when you're in a moment like that. Professional athletes like Love had the ability to do incredible things on the hard court, but his mental health struggles were proof that he wasn't infallible, a human just like everyone else. Okay. So, suicide affects everybody. Okay. From me to Kevin Love to the Uber driver to whoever. It affects everybody. Okay. And so, these professional athletes who take a moment to be vulnerable to share that they struggle with thoughts of suicide. Okay. I remember seeing a clip by one of my favorite receivers in the NFL of all time, Michael Irvin. Okay. So Michael Irvin, similar to Kevin Love, he tore his ACL during the 1989 season with the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. He tore his ACL and he was out for the season. Not only was he out for the season, but he was out for the first 4 games of 1990 as well. Okay. And I remember watching something, Michael Irvin talking about that injury, and he said, if we can't play football, why do we do anything? Why do we do anything in life? Then Michael Irvin said, honestly, I thought about it. And so when he said, honestly, I thought about it, I thought he meant quitting the game, okay? But he also meant he wanted to end his life by suicide, okay? Yes, Michael Irvin was at that point in his life when he got injured in 1989 where he wanted to end his life and quit football, okay? And Michael Irvin talked about that. I was watching a documentary on Rod Woodson, one of the best NFL players of all time. And Rod Woodson had come back from a knee injury, okay, to play in the Super Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl 30. And he was covering Michael Irvin. And Michael Irvin said to see him come back from the type of knee injury he had, the same type of knee injury that I had, that caused me to contemplate ending my life by suicide, was just incredible. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, again, just goes to show you that suicide affects everyone. Suicide affects everyone. Even Michael Irvin, Kevin Love, to Twitch, to Robin Williams, Whitney Houston. Okay. Yeah. And it is Men's Health Month, okay? And I've been talking about this on social media and on here. Men, let's speak up. Okay, let's normalize getting help. Okay? Seeking help is not weakness. It is strength, okay? It is 100% strength. Don't let anybody ever convince you of that otherwise, okay? Okay? Don't let people in your family convince you. Don't let your friends convince you, okay? That seeking help is a sign of weakness. No. No, 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 no. Seeking help is how you get better, okay? You don't get better by keeping everything in, letting it build up, okay? That's how those emotions come out in a very unhealthy way. Sooner or later, those emotions are gonna come out, okay? As someone who works on the 988 Suicide Prevention Lifeline, I've heard it before, okay? I've heard it before, where men have just had a lot of stuff built up in them that they have never talked about because they've been told that help is a sign of weakness, okay? I've heard it before, okay? And it's not pretty, okay? So, man, I encourage you. Hey, seek help, okay? Call us. Call 988, okay? Okay? Empathy, compassion, no judgment, understanding, okay? Empathy, compassion, no judgment, understanding, okay? It is a safe space for you to let your emotions out, okay? And I think people kind of think that no, this is gonna be reported or anything like that. No, 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 no. 988 is 24/7, 100% confidential, okay? 100% confidential, okay? So it is a safe space to talk about whatever you want to talk about, okay? And I say this to men, okay, who make up 80% of completed suicides, okay? No, I say that to men, but I also say that to everybody as well, okay? Don't be afraid to seek help, okay? It's the best thing you can do. You don't get better by keeping everything in and staying strong. If anything, you are destroying your health, okay? By keeping that kind of stuff inside. Don't let people convince you to keep that stuff inside. No. No, 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 no. No. We need to let those things out, okay? We need to let those things out. It's like carrying extra weight in your chest, okay? You don't need that extra weight in your chest, okay? And when you dial 988, you might shed some tears. People have shed tears while talking about what they're going through. And by the end of the call, it were like, it actually feels good to get that out, okay? Yeah. Yeah. people actually feel better when they release what they have built up inside them, okay? And so, men in particular, but everybody, okay? Hey, don't be afraid to seek help. That's how we get better. You don't get better by keeping everything in, okay? That's unhealthy, okay? I tried that, and look where it led. I tried that. Look where it led me. Anger issues, depression, and eventually a suicidal attempt. Okay? So, man, let's get help. Okay? Don't let anybody else ever tell you any differently. Okay? All right. That's it, and that's all for the Sean Farrell podcast. I am out of here. May God bless you all. You matter. You're loved. You're more than enough. Don't let anybody else ever tell you any differently. Okay? Peace.